Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the new people that have joined me recently. If you'd like to know a little bit more about what I'm trying to do here on the channel and what the Bubble family really means, there is an intro video which I will link in the description box of this video. I'm going to talk about why narcissists embellish and lie, and I'm going to use examples of Tiara Gate, which is the drama surrounding the situation with the tiara, and I'm going to be looking at Valentine Lowe's version, Tom Bower's version, and then also the way that, well, Omid, Scobie, let's be honest, Meghan and Harry gave their version. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about this, then please grab your drink of choice, whether it be tea, whether it be coffee, and today I am drinking a huge mug of cappuccino. I just feel the need for cappuccino. And you could be a glass of Pepsi, a glass of water. You might be feeling particularly healthy as we're leading up to Christmas. Perhaps you'd like to add a little something to that drink to give it a little bit of a kick, because as it says in the flag behind me, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink and let's dive right in. In regards to Tiara Gate, which was coined, I believe, in the Sun newspaper by Dan Wootton, which I'm sure that most of you here know this by now, but basically it was around the time that Meghan was meant to be choosing a tiara for her wedding, and there was rumours of there just being this huge kind of argument, and Harry was behaving badly, Meghan was behaving badly. So in Tom Bower's version, he says here, no member of Buckingham Palace's staff is closer to the Queen than Angela Kelly, the 61-year-old personal advisor of the Queen's wardrobe. Devoted to the monarch, Kelly's many duties include caring for the royal collection of tiaras. Invited to the palace's secure room, Meghan alighted on a tiara sparkling with emeralds. Now remember, this is Tom Bower's version. Her choice was approved by Harry. Kelly suggested that its Russian origin made it unsuitable. Apparently, Harry then became angry and became downright rude, the Times was told. Kelly reported the unhappy exchange to the Queen. Harry was summoned by his grandmother to a private meeting. He was put firmly in his place. So that's what this particular bit surrounding the tiara, but then it goes on to say that apparently the Queen said to to Harry, Meghan cannot have what she wants. She gets what tiara she's given by me. The Queen also questioned why Meghan needed a veil for the wedding, given it was to be her second marriage. So apparently this was obviously at the height of the Tiara Gate. Harry was being very petulant, ill-tempered with the staff, downright rude. He'd shouted, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, which is the famous line we've all now come to know. The Queen wrote apparently asking to see Harry privately, and she put him firmly in his place. You can imagine that conversation. Apparently, Jobson blamed Meghan's original choice of the Vladimir tiara set with emeralds or pearls and pendant emeralds, but it was smuggled out of Russia after the revolution, sold to Queen Mary. The tiara's provenance, he suggested, made its public display very sensitive. Now, it then goes on to say that then the next situation that happened was apparently Meghan's hairdresser flew in from New York to rehearse his work around the tiara, which was then settled upon the Queen's Mary's diamond bandeau. Meghan asked that the tiara be delivered to the stylist's room, and apparently Kelly refused. Tiaras, she said, were not released for hairdressing rehearsals. Harry again became irate, accusing Kelly of being unhelpful. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets. So I don't know whether it was said this time, but it seems it was also said the previous time, but I have a feeling it was only said once. So here we have, that's Tom Bower's version in his book. And as we know, he's not been sued by anybody. So in Valentine Lowe's version, it says here, in the months before Harry's wedding to Meghan Markle in May 2018, Meghan was told that the Queen would lend her a tiara for the big day, just as she had done for Kate Middleton 7 years earlier. An appointment was made in February for Meghan to look at a short list of appropriate tiaras at Buckingham Palace, accompanied by Harry and under the watchful eye of Angela Kelly, the Queen's dresser, who is also curator of the Queen's jewellery. Meghan opted for Queen Mary's diamond bandeau tiara. So far, so good. Despite some confusing reports, there was no row about which tiara Meghan could have. She got her first choice. It was what happened afterwards that was the problem. So before we get to the next bit, so we have two conflicting stories here. And one of the things I will say is I'm a firm believer then, you know, when you have one version and then you have another version, it's almost as if then somewhere in the middle you can find the truth. But it's interesting that there isn't, in Valentine Lowe's version, there isn't any mention about this emerald tiara that apparently Meghan coveted and was told she couldn't have because of the Russian origin. So I believe one or two things possibly happened here. Either the conversation about the emerald tiara, Valentine Lowe wasn't privy to, so he couldn't really report on it because it was perhaps secondhand information. I don't know. No real facts. He might be very dubious about the facts of that particular conversation, knowing the fact how litigious Harry and Meghan are, because if you can't prove something, then it's probably not worth the hassle of printing it. Or it didn't happen. So, I mean, obviously you guys, you know, draw your own conclusions from that. Now, obviously it then goes on to talk about the actual argument. So here it says, wearing a tiara is not a straightforward business. Hair and tiara have to be considered together, and Meghan needed to make sure her hairdresser had an opportunity to rehearse before the day itself. Unfortunately, on the day that her hairdresser, Serge Normant, was in town, Angela Kelly, who has a very close relationship with Her Majesty and is an influential figure at Buckingham Palace, was not available. And if Angela Kelly was not available, then neither was the tiara. That makes sense. But in Harry's view, this was Kelly being obstructive, plain and simple, according to Finding Freedom, which is now Meghan's version, Omid Scobie's version. A decidedly pro-Harry and Meghan account of the couple's life together, Kelly had ignored repeated requests from Kensington Palace to set up a date for a hair trial, and Harry was furious. Nothing could convince Harry that some of the old guard at the palace simply didn't like Meghan, and they would stop at nothing to make her life difficult, wrote the book's authors, Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand. But there was another version, that perhaps it wasn't a snub, and that Harry and Meghan were naive at best, entitled at worst, to expect others to jump to their command when they had not even bothered to make an appointment. As a source told the Mail on Sunday, Meghan demanded access to the tiara. She didn't make an appointment with Angela, but said, we're at Buckingham Palace. We want the tiara. Can we have it now, please? Angela essentially said, I'm very sorry. That's not how it works. There's protocol in place over these jewels. They're kept under very tight lock and key. You can't turn up and demand to have the tiara just because your hairdresser happens to be in town. And this apparently didn't go down well with Harry. He tried to get what Meghan wanted by ringing others to put pressure on Kelly to bend the rules. And in the course of his less than diplomatic efforts, he's said to have used some rather fruity language. I'm very upset by that because that's what I say, fruity language. So I have a feeling that Harry's language is quite more than fruity. Whether Harry swore at his grandmother's aid or about her is not clear. Either way, it is probably language that Kelly, the daughter of a Liverpool docks crane driver, has heard before. She is a very forthright individual who has not earned the nickname of AK-47 for nothing, but she wasn't impressed. She reported all of this to the Queen, who summoned Harry to a private meeting. He was firmly put in his place. A source said he had been downright rude. It was a very simple lesson: don't mess with AK-47. When it comes to the way narcissistic people behave, so you have two versions here. You have obviously the version of, which I don't believe Angela Kelly was being completely difficult. I think she's probably a very busy woman, and unfortunately you have Meghan Markle, who's used to getting what she wants, like now, and in a way I guess Harry does too. It was kind of like, we want this tiara now, my hairdresser's available, let's do this now. Let's do it now. Now, jump to it. And Angela said, no, absolutely not. So, of course, this version is not going to come out in Finding Freebies, because their whole ethos is being the victim. Their whole ethos is, let's have people feel sorry for us and hate the monarchy, and hate the monarchy. So it makes sense that their version is going to be very embellished, which we've seen before, and they are going to lie. Because let's be honest, a narcissist will do whatever it takes, and I said this in my little caption, will do whatever it takes to have people on their side. And that includes lying, doing things that are illegal. They will do whatever it takes. They do not care. And it seems that Meghan didn't care that she upset people, because it was Harry that was getting the telling off. Meghan wasn't. I think because people were making allowances for her because she's new. And, well, albeit that she's been in there since, for 3 years, no, 2 years at this point. But the way they were viewing this was they were pandering in a way to Harry to a point, because Harry didn't want to lose Meghan. He was becoming more frustrated and wanting to pander to everything Meghan wanted. And so this was the behaviour. I mean, after all, Catherine, when she got married, I believe she used a plastic tiara from Claire's Accessories to do the rehearsals. But Meghan couldn't. And of course, we're talking about the tiaras with the most expensive jewels in them. And can you imagine? Or just, you know what, actually, yeah, you know what, I'm going to get it out of lockup, and yeah, you just pass it around to your hairdresser and whoever, and don't you worry about it. I mean, the fact that she thinks that this is just going to be openly, readily available to her is rather bizarre to me. But in a way, not so much, given the fact that we've seen how entitled they both are, how much they expect things to be done for them exactly when they want it to be, without any consequences of, is this convenient? The lack of respect is quite astounding. So this shows me as well that this was never just about Meghan, albeit that, yes, she didn't help. I am seeing, certainly as I read these books, that Harry's behaviour was just as bad. I know that we see this jovial, happy Harry before he met Meghan, and I don't disagree with the fact that he probably was a lot happier. He's a fish out of water now. He's got no purpose. He doesn't know where his place is anymore. So that I do believe is happening. But let's not all blame everything on Meghan here. I think, we have a very spoilt, entitled man-child in Harry. And this, both accounts say that he was very rude to Angela. And I'm sorry, I do believe that. I believe he was rude, because we've seen that he can be this way. So you have these two very spoilt individuals coming together. It's in a way a train wreck waiting to happen. It's quite explosive. So he's, she's wanting what she wants, and he's trying to pander to her to give her what she wants, and arguing with the people that have been in the royal family for years And he would know Angela Kelly. He would know the way she is and how she deals with everything. But it's kind of like, no, I'm Prince Harry, and you're going to do what I want because my future wife wants it. So yeah. So in my opinion, I think I'm a little bit dubious about the emerald tiara thing. I wonder if this was perhaps just a conversation that perhaps Valentine Lowe wasn't privy to. Perhaps she did particularly want this tiara, but in the end, she settled on the diamond tiara, the bandeau tiara. But let me know what you think in the comments. Now I'm trying a few little things differently on the channel. So I'm going to do the waffle as a separate video. So it's a part 2 video, the waffle, where I'm going to kind of wrap this up in a little bit more of a conclusion. And I'm just going to give you my thoughts on my personal thoughts on everything. So it's going to be my therapist waffle. So if you want to join me with that, it's going to be a separate video. And so for the rest of you, then you just get this shorter video and you're not having to sift through the timestamp and I'm going to see how this works. So you're not missing out on the waffle. It's just going to be a separate video for the people that just want to enjoy the waffle. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget what I've said. If it's not something you're interested in to help me, then click across to the end, give it a like. Perhaps think about commenting in the comments because it does help the algorithm. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already, because you don't want to miss future uploads, then that'll be wonderful. I will always give you my therapeutic perspective on everything. And all the links to everything that you need following me. Oh, hello, Arthur. You've come back from walkies. Everything from joining me on TikTok, Instagram. Hello. Good boy. TikTok, Instagram, Rumble. If you want to buy some of my merchandise, you need to be getting in there quick because I will be changing some of the designs on there. Yeah, pretty much everything. All my links. If you would like to treat me to a cuppa, if you've got something from this video, then I'd be more than grateful, but it's not necessary. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in my part 2, which is the waffle. And if not, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.